by Alex Smith and Jockey Scott for this make-or-break match. Stuart McKimmie isn't fit to be considered, and Ian Jess is still slightly troubled by a knee injury. Scott Booth's recent excellent performances keep him in the side, with Peter van de Ven joined on the bench by Willem van der Ark. It's another vital game for goalkeeper Theo Snelders, who missed 11 matches after fracturing his cheekbone in an accidental clash with Ali McCoist when the teams last met here at Pittodrie in October. Graham Souness has abandoned the 3 strikers policy he employed in midweek at Perth, so Ali McCoist drops down to a place on the bench, where he's joined by Peter Hoystra, leaving Mark Hateley and Mo Johnston as twin strikers. Snelders' opposite number, Chris Woods, is playing his 71st consecutive match for Rangers. He lost his first goal in 1991 on Tuesday in the 1-1 draw with St Johnstone at McDermott Park. And the referee, fittingly for this match, one of our top officials, David Syme from Rutherglen, who sets off for Kiev on Monday to handle the Dynamo Kiev-Barcelona European match on Wednesday. A very tense atmosphere inside the stadium. A gusting wind blowing down the field into Rangers' faces, and Aberdeen setting off on their most important task perhaps of the season so far. Victory only is acceptable if Aberdeen are to retain any genuine hopes of competing in the league race. There's Jim Betts stepping away from Johnston. Played forward by Stevens for Johnston. Hateley's head flick. Robert Connor is dropped back for Aberdeen. Connor playing wide on the left side of the Aberdeen midfield. Irvin's header. Foul by Wright on Walters, going in with his upraised right foot. So Rangers have reverted to their familiar central defensive partnership of Richard Gough and John Brown, with Scott Nisbet at left back marking Paul Mason. It's Nisbet's free kick, helped on by Hateley. Connor looking for Booth. That's good play by the youngster. Gary Stevens now for Rangers. Stepping away from Hillhouse. Good pass from Stephen. Takes the return from Harlock. That's intended for Hateley. Stephen Wright playing the ball to safety, taking no chances at all with Mark Walters hovering behind him. First corner kick of the match for Rangers. Walters to the far post. Headed out by Wright. There's Harlock. That was a chance, all right. Well, Terry Harlock will be regretting, I reckon, not hitting the target with that shot. Difficult one to take in the volley. It was a header out from Stephen Wright, which went straight to Harlock. With a chance to drive this through this crowded goalmouth, but it goes well over the top. Trevor Stevens sending it back. The offside flag was up. I can't think why. It was Stephen playing it back. The referee has not yet spotted the near side linesman, Paul Watson. The linesman still standing with upraised flag. He now has got it down, but he certainly put his flag up as Trevor Stephen played the ball back to his goalkeeper. The referee Syme clearly was conscious of that. Robertson forward. It's a fine turn by Booth. Yes, Hillhouse in the middle with Brian Grant. The chance for Aberdeen. Booth going all the way himself. And the ball bobbled just as Booth went to strike it. A young striker out of luck, starting only his 6th first team match. He scored 4 times this season, and I was thinking only about number 5 here. You see the ball popping up for him just as he went to shoot. Well controlled by Walters. Aberdeen getting plenty of players behind the ball with a loose possession, but they do want to keep 3 men up front whenever possible. That's quite clear from the opening spell in the match. Raced inside, the dummy from Hillhouse. There's Grant. Stevens with a pass. The tackle came from Beck on Harlock. The Aberdeen fans enjoyed that. No complaint from Harlock. The tackle came from Hillhouse. are certainly looking eager in these early stages. They clearly have warmed to the task. They realise how important this is. Fish opting for the long ball in the end. It's hanging up in the swirling wind. Hateley's header, here's Stephen. Good running that by Hateley, he's away from McLeish. Irvin goes across, that's for Johnston. Well, it was the attentions there of Stephen Wright which made that so difficult for Johnston. An excellent move from Rangers. But the young fullback played a key role in making sure that this didn't find the net. Look at the challenge he made. Johnston got to the ball first, but he had no time at all to find the way to net. Hillhouse has found some space. Supported well by Grant. This is Mason. It's a good build-up from Aberdeen. Back again with Wright. He has Bet available in the middle. David Robertson on the left. That's for Connor. Just kept in play. Hillhouse with the lay-off. The little dummy there from Hans Hillhouse almost opened up the space for Paul Mason. An excellent move this from Aberdeen. Robertson playing it forward there for Connor. And when he pulled it across, Hillhouse runs over the top of the ball. It came off John Brown, and that's what saved the day for Rangers. In the middle it goes. Brown getting there with a challenge from Booth. Supporting player was Mason. Here's Hillhouse taking on Gary Stevens. Fine goalkeeping by Woods. Hillhouse not happy with his cross in the end, but another excellent sweeping move from Aberdeen. They really are stretching the Rangers' defence. Hillhouse with lots of confidence to take on Gary Stevens. Looking for support inside, played that much too close to Woods. Brown playing it inside. Here's Brian Grant. Was blocked by Stephen. Bet can try again. Across to David Robertson. The ball looped across, headed away by Brown. Walters robbed by Mason. Good piece of judgment there by Mason. Wright was caught late by Walters. The referee allows play to continue with Aberdeen in possession. Hillhouse to Mason. And a golden opportunity there for Scott Booth, although the flag was up. Well, I think Scott Booth may well be relieved about that. At this level of football, that was an excellent chance. Tackle there from Walters on Wright. The referee allowed Aberdeen to continue, and this was a magnificent pass into the gap for Mason, and Booth was adjudged offside. Well, Rangers have pushed Mark Walters further forward on the left flank to make a three-man attack. They've matched Grant, Bet and Connor with Spackman, Hurlock and Stephen. The chance now for Johnston! It couldn't have been closer. His first glimpse of goal in the match, and it could so easily have been the opener. Well, what an incredible break that was from Rangers. This long kick out from Chris Woods caused all the problems. Hateley underneath that, get the slightest of touches. Johnston was there, tried to loft it beyond Snelder and hit the upright, going past for the goal kick. Peter Hoystra and Darry McCoist getting some treatment there from the Aberdeen supporters as they warm up. There's Hurlock and Hateley. Connor steps in. Bet being wrestled there by Hurlock. It's all becoming very intense in that crucial midfield area. And the referee, David Syme, will have words with the former Millwall midfield player. The message is quite clear: calm things down. Well, Jim Bett has been through this many times before in his long, illustrious career. David Syme, the kind of referee required in a match as torrid as this. This bit forward, Walters won't get there ahead of Irvin. Stephen looking for Gary Stevens, breaking on the right, followed back by Scott Booth. Good play by Gary Stevens. A chance now for Rangers. And Hateley was inches away. Well, it was all set up by Gary Stevens. The closest, perhaps, of the first half for Mark Hateley. Great control on the chest, getting away from Scott Booth. Playing it right across at the angle, and Hateley came in a fraction late. Back from Gary Stevens. Either side will want to give anything away in these closing seconds of the first half. So back from Gough to Woods. They will seek out Mark Hateley with what could be the last attack of the first half. Well, it isn't even enough time for that. It's been an incredibly tense, tough first half. Aberdeen having a lot of possession and the territorial advantage, but Brian Grant there and Terry Harlott were terriers in the middle of the field. The best chances, though, fell to Rangers, and Mo Johnston came closest when he moved on to a Mark Hateley head flick to loft the ball beyond Stenders and off the upright for the goal kick. So at half-time at Pittodrie, it's Aberdeen 0, Rangers 0. The first two league games between these clubs this season ended in draws, 0-0 in a water-ridden pitch in October here at Pittodrie, and 2-2 just before Christmas at Ibrox when Jim Betts scored a couple of goals in the last 10 minutes to rescue the men from Pittodrie. So that reflects how closely matched these teams are. It was 1-0 in the Skoll Cup semi-final in favour of Rangers, and this match turning out to be every bit as close. Rangers certainly taking the brunt of the Aberdeen attacking play in the early stages, but they began to settle as that first half wore on and carved out one or two good chances before the interval. Took Rangers some time to get their passing movements going, and have men like Trevor Stephen and Gary Stevens involved as they are now. Here's Trevor Stephen, given no space at all by David Robertson. Well, he's been fouled there by Robertson. Confident, skillful play that by Stephen, and it sets up a very dangerous free kick. Scott Nisbet and Richard Gough going forward. Gough hovering at the edge of the penalty area to make a late run, perhaps. Nisbet is right in the thick of it. That's a good effort there by Hateley. He's looking for a corner kick. It did appear to be a deflection, but the goal kick has been given. It was a great dummy, that, by Maurice Johnston. Played in low this time by Stephen. Johnston dummied the ball. The shot came from Hateley, tipping over the crossbar. Here's Mason, and he has earned a throw for Aberdeen. He'll have to take it, though, from the right place. That's why he leaves it there to right. It's a great ball in from Booth to Hillhouse. Gary Stevens was there for Rangers, waiting in the middle. But a superb piece of build-up play straight to the training ground involving Hillhouse and Booth. It opened up the Rangers' defence. So the corner kick, giving the opportunity for Brian Irvin and Alec McLeish to go forward. Helped on by Nisbet. There's Booth. And it's Maurice Johnston back helping in defence. The ricochet off Booth gives the goal kick to Rangers. Well, Johnston in unusual circumstances, deep inside his own 6-yard box. Hateley chesting it down. There's Hurlock. Gary Stevens. Johnston with his head to that. There's McLeish. Good header by Bett. Corner to Booth. Holding up the play well. Gary Stevens tried to find Gough, but this is Scott Booth. Bett helps it on. Here's Grant, hustled by Walters. Well, the space is being denied all these creative players in the middle of the field. Mark Walters too finding it difficult to get any change out of Stephen Wright over on the Rangers left. Haitley gets up well. This is Johnston running at McLeish. Good tackle by McLeish. Well, there's always a suspicion that Elliot McLeish is half a yard slow, but he offsets that with his vast experience. So Trevor Stephen with the corner. Gough at the edge of the penalty area, making the run now. Up goes Gough. Fine effort by the Rangers captain. Well, disappointment all over his face, but he got up superbly to this corner. And Snelders was clearly relieved. But just look at the leap here in that crowded penalty box. And Snelders saw that dipping over the body. May well have had it covered. Stephen Wright lofting it forward, finding under the head of Gary Stevens. Warlock. Haitley's header, Walters is offside. Well, a clinical enough finish, but Walters knew the whistle had gone. Good header again though by Haitley. That layoff from the high ball, very skillful indeed. Hillhouse battling there with Gough. With the corner. Trying a very ambitious cross in that position for Robert Connor. It didn't come off, and Rangers have the goal kick. Haitley getting up well once again. Gough striding forward. He hasn't been given the chance to do this too often in the match. That's for Johnston. Here's Trevor Stephen. The early ball played across. Walters coming in. Wright was there for Aberdeen. Here's McLeish to clear. Now Gary Stevens. Couldn't get that beyond Irvin. Wright losing out to Nisbet. Here's Walters. Connor was back in the box. There's Gary Stevens. Now Trevor Stephen. Well, a good clean strike of the ball, but Snelders cut down the angle and made that look easy. Applause from the Rangers fans at the beach end. Oh, a concentrated attacking move this from Rangers. Connor doing well initially. That was Gary Stevens. Johnston left that to Stephen. Irvin getting up well at the edge of the box against Haitley. Stolen away from Spackman by Mason. Here's Grant. He'll be taken out of that by Harlock. The referee's given the free kick. Well, Terry Harlock taking lots of abuse from the Aberdeen supporters this afternoon. That won't worry him though. So Brian Grant was willing to take him on physically in the middle of the field. He has won the free kick. This is Connor in space. Both and Hillhouse to the middle. Oh, McLeish nodding that away from Johnston. There's no offside. Stevens put under pressure there by Connor. Reacting very calmly indeed, the Rangers fullback. Stephen. Haitley trying to make an angle ahead of him. So is Johnston. Trevor Stevens crossed. There's Haitley! Well, that's one he'll feel he should have hit the target with. He was brilliantly picked out by Trevor Stephen. Made space, there didn't appear to be any here. Send over a very accurate cross. Haitley getting up so well. He couldn't keep the header down. Play from Trevor Stephen. Bett and Wright work the ball clear. Spackman was there. There's Mason. Here's Hillhouse. Now Brian Irvin. Hillhouse is still there. Here's Irvin once more. The referee having to keep a very close eye on things there as Bet tries to control the ball, and he's guilty of handball. Well, an amazing melee there, right inside the penalty box, as Aberdeen tried to winkle the ball into a shooting position. Well, they headed away there, came from Booth. There was Mason playing it in, Hillhouse holding it up. Irvin right in the midst of it. Look at all these Rangers players surrounding the two Aberdonians. In the end, when it came out, it came off the right arm of Bet. So the second Aberdeen substitution being made. Paul Mason goes off and Willem van der Aert comes on for his first outing of the season after so much injury trouble. And he will present a new unorthodox problem for the Rangers defence. Spackman lofting it forward rather hopefully. There's Stephen Wright. Booth helps it on. Brown's clearance. There's Hoystra. Rangers supporters already chanting that they are the champions. Really believing that a draw here will be good enough to ensure the end of the Aberdeen challenge. There's Maurice Johnston! Couldn't quite get up high enough for that. So disappointed. Sheer frustration there, but what a fine cross it was from Hoystra. In comes Maurice Johnston, trying to direct that past Snelders. Peter Hoystra certainly has made an excellent impact on the proceedings for Rangers since his arrival as substitute. There's Van de Ven. The interception was made by Stevens. Steven. Malak. Spackman tried to find Hoystra but succeeded only in reaching Jim Bet. Good change of pace there by Bet. Good angle made on the right by Booth. That's for Hillhouse. Fine, flashing header there by Hillhouse. So effective in the air, the Dutchman. But what superb service it was. First from Bet, and then the cross from Scott Booth on the right. A lot of power in that header from Hillhouse. Once again, Rangers have the throw. Just 2 minutes left, plus injury time. There hasn't been a great deal of that. A brief stoppage, I recall, for Scott Booth. Throw from Nisbet, helped on by Haitley. Johnston to Trevor Stephen. Going for the spectacular volley. Connor drops back to take the pass from McLeish. Bet on the far side. A very clumsy challenge by Hoystra again. He has been putting himself about since he came on. There's Irvin. Wasn't quite what was intended. David Robertson plays it in. There's Hillhouse! Aberdeen on the head! Sheer joy for the Aberdeen supporters with just 1 minute left. It all came from a free kick, which turned out to Aberdeen's advantage in accidental fashion. Well, Hans Hillhouse gets a vital ball. Brian Irvin had a free kick there against his legs. He then won it brilliantly there at the edge of the box. Played it across for David Robertson. That was an excellent cross. And Hillhouse made the near post run, which proves so crucial for Aberdeen. Free kick taken quickly, which was not intended for Irvin, struck him on the legs. He then charged forward, went through 2 tackles, played it wide for David Robertson, and this was deadly finishing. Well, the atmosphere inside Pittodrie has been transformed by that goal from Hillhouse. The Rangers supporters were celebrating the championship, and now it's the Aberdeen fans who realise that they're back in the league race with a realistic chance. There's Stephen Wright. Rangers now trying to find the courage to come back, but they've no chance now. That goal coming so late. There was no way back for Rangers. And at 15
15-match unbeaten run comes to an end thanks to the goal from Hans Hillhouse. Well, he's scored 11 times now this season for Aberdeen. He's had his critics in recent weeks, but what a vital goal that could turn out to be. The championship has been blown open again as Aberdeen get the victory which was so crucial to their hopes. A grandstand finish then from Aberdeen, for Rangers disappointment in the end. It's Aberdeen 1, Rangers 0.